Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fluent Journey, the podcast that helps you learn and improve your English. My name is Jasmine, and I am your host. I am so happy that you are here today because we are going to talk about something very important: how to learn English as a beginner. If you are just starting your English learning journey, don't worry. Learning a new language is like taking small steps. At first, it may feel difficult, but with time and practice, you will improve. I know many of you want to speak English fluently, and that's why I am here to guide you. In this episode, I will teach you the best way to learn English as a beginner. I will explain step by step what you need to do. I will talk about learning simple words, practicing listening, speaking without fear, and much more. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear plan to follow. So, I have one request for you. Listen carefully and try to follow my advice. You don't have to be perfect. Just take small steps every day and you will see progress. Also, don't be afraid to repeat after me when I say something in English. Speaking is one of the best ways to improve your language skills. Even if you are alone, you can still practice. You can also write down new words and sentences that you learn from this podcast. English is a beautiful language, and learning it will open many doors for you. It can help you in school, work, and even while traveling. So, if you are ready, let's begin our lesson on how to learn English as a beginner. Step 1. Start with simple words and sentences. When you start learning English, the first step is to learn simple words and sentences. This is like the foundation of a building. If the foundation is strong, the building will stand tall. In the same way, if you learn basic words well, speaking English will become easier. Let's start with some very common words. These are words that people use every day, no matter where they are. Words like hello, yes, no, please, thank you, sorry, and goodbye are very important. Imagine you are in a new country and you don't know the language. Just by knowing these words, you can still communicate with people. If someone helps you, you can say thank you. If you want to ask for something politely, you can say please. After learning words, the next step is to make simple sentences. Short and easy sentences are the best way to begin. For example, when you meet someone, you can say, "My name is Alex." If someone asks where you are from, you can say, "I am from Brazil." These are simple but very useful sentences. Learning sentences helps you feel more confident. Imagine you are in a new place and someone asks, "Where are you from?" If you already know how to say, "I am from India," or "I am from Spain," you will feel happy and comfortable speaking English. One good way to learn new words is by writing them down. Keeping a small notebook for vocabulary is very helpful. Every day, you can write a few new words and their meanings. If you hear a new word, don't just forget it. Write it down and try to use it in a sentence. For example, if you learn the word happy, write, "I am happy today." This will help you remember the word and how to use it correctly. Learning English takes time, but starting with simple words and sentences makes the journey easier. Once you know basic words and how to make short sentences, you can move to the next step, listening and repeating. Step 2. Listen and repeat. When you are learning English, listening is very important. Think about how babies learn to speak. They don't start with books or writing. First, they listen to their parents. They hear words many times, and then they start repeating them. This is how you can learn English too. The best way to improve your English is to listen to it every day. You can listen to English songs, podcasts, short stories, or even simple conversations. When you listen, pay attention to how words sound. Some words in English are not pronounced the way they are written. For example, the K in no is silent. You don't say ku now, you just say no. After listening, the next step is to repeat what you hear. If you listen to a short sentence like, "How are you?" try saying it out loud. If you hear, "My name is Sarah. I live in London," repeat it exactly the same way. This will help you remember the sentence and improve your pronunciation. A great way to practice is by watching a video or listening to a podcast and pausing after each sentence. Say the sentence out loud, then play the next one. You can also try the shadowing technique. This means listening and speaking at the same time, like an echo. If you do this every day, your English will become more natural. Listening and repeating will help you learn new words, improve pronunciation, and speak with confidence. The more you listen, the better your English will become. So, make listening a daily habit, and soon you will see great progress. Step 3. Learn basic grammar. Welcome back to our podcast on how to learn English as a beginner. I hope you're enjoying the journey so far. In the first 2 steps, we focused on learning simple words and sentences, and then we worked on improving your speaking skills by listening and repeating. Today we're going to talk about grammar. Now, I know that grammar might sound a little scary at first, but don't worry. It's not as hard as it seems. Why is grammar important? Grammar is like the structure of a building. Just like a building needs strong walls and a solid roof, your English needs grammar to be strong and correct. It helps you put words together in a way that people will understand. Without grammar, your sentences might sound like a puzzle that is hard to solve. But with grammar, your sentences become clear and people can understand exactly what you mean. Imagine you want to say something simple, like, I am hungry. If you don't know grammar, you might say something like, hungry I am. While this is easy to understand, it's not the correct way to say it in English. Grammar helps you say it the right way. I am hungry. When you use grammar correctly, you can express yourself clearly. Start with simple grammar rules. The first grammar rule you should learn is how to make simple sentences in the present. The present simple tense is one of the easiest grammar rules to start with. It helps you talk about things that are true in the present moment, like things you do every day, or facts that don't change. For example, let's look at some simple present tense sentences. I like apples. She works at a school. They play football on weekends. As you can see, these sentences follow a simple pattern. To make a sentence in the present simple, you just need a subject, like I, you, he, she, it, we, they, a verb, like, work, play, and sometimes an object, like apples, football, a school. Let's look at how it works. I like apples. She works at a school. They play football. Notice that we add an S to the verb when the subject is he, she, or it. So it becomes she works and he plays. This is the easiest way to start speaking English. The present simple tense is used to talk about habits, routines, and general facts. For example, I wake up at 7 a.m. She reads books every day. They eat lunch at 12 o'clock. Use grammar in daily conversations. Once you understand how to form simple sentences in the present tense, the next step is to start using this grammar in your daily conversations. Don't wait until you know everything about grammar to start speaking. It's better to practice with what you know. For example, if you go to the store and want to tell the shopkeeper what you want to buy, you can use the present simple. I want apples. I need milk. I like this shirt. When you use simple grammar in conversations, it helps you feel more confident. Even if you make mistakes, people will understand you, and that's the most important thing. The more you practice, the better you will get. You can also use grammar to talk about your day. For example, if someone asks you, "How was your day?" you can use present simple sentences to answer. I work in an office. I study English every day. I like to read books in the evening. By using these simple sentences, you are practicing your grammar and speaking English at the same time. Practice with online exercises. Now that you have a basic understanding of simple grammar rules, the next step is to practice. And one of the best ways to practice grammar is by doing online exercises. These exercises help you test your understanding and make sure you are using grammar correctly. There are many websites and apps that offer free grammar exercises for beginners. Some of them even give you immediate feedback, so you can see if you made any mistakes. This is a great way to learn because you can see where you need to improve and keep practicing until you get it right. For example, websites like Duolingo, English Club, or BBC Learning English have grammar exercises that are easy to understand. You can start with simple activities, like filling in the blanks with the correct form of a verb. For example, the exercise might ask you to choose the correct sentence. He goes to the market. He goes to the market. The correct answer is, he goes to the market. These exercises help you remember the rules and make you more comfortable using grammar in real conversations. Keep practicing every day. Remember, learning grammar takes time. You won't become perfect overnight, and that's okay. The key is to practice every day. Start with simple sentences, and as you get better, you can move on to more complex grammar rules. Practice speaking and writing as much as you can. The more you use grammar in real situations, the more natural it will feel. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The important thing is to keep trying and learning from your errors. If you make a mistake, think about it and try to say it correctly next time. Over time, you'll get better and better at using grammar naturally. Final thoughts on grammar. So, let's review what we learned in this step. Start with simple grammar rules like the present simple tense. Use grammar in your daily conversations to practice and feel more confident. Practice with online exercises to test your understanding and improve your grammar. Grammar is an important part of learning English, but it doesn't have to be difficult. By starting with the basics and practicing every day, you'll make great progress. Step 4. Speak without fear. Welcome back. Now that we've covered the basics of learning words, practicing pronunciation, and understanding grammar, we're going to talk about something very important in the language learning process: speaking without fear. This might be one of the most challenging parts of learning English, especially if you're a beginner. But don't worry. In this step, I'll show you how to become more confident when speaking and why making mistakes is actually a good thing. Start speaking English every day. The most important thing to remember when learning English or any language is that practice makes perfect. To improve your speaking skills, you need to practice speaking every day. Even if you only speak for a few minutes, it will help you get better and more comfortable with the language. When you first start learning English, it can feel strange to speak. Maybe you're afraid of making mistakes or not knowing the right word to use. But guess what? Every person who speaks English, even native speakers, made mistakes when they were learning. The key is not to worry about being perfect, but to focus on practicing. One way to start speaking is to talk to yourself. It might sound funny, but it works. You can practice in front of a mirror or even talk out loud while you're alone. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to practice talking about your day. You can say something like, "Today I went to the market. I bought some vegetables. Then I came home and read a book." It doesn't matter if you're speaking alone. It's the act of speaking that helps you get better. The more you do it, the easier it will feel. You can also use simple phrases to practice. For example, I like English. I am learning English. Today is a beautiful day. You can repeat these phrases as many times as you need until they feel natural. The more you speak, the better you'll get, and the less fear you'll have. Using language apps to practice speaking. Another great way to practice speaking is by using language learning apps. There are many apps that are designed to help you practice speaking in English. Some apps even have features where you can practice speaking with a virtual assistant or a native speaker. These apps can be very helpful because they allow you to practice English at your own pace, and you can do it wherever you are. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, and HelloTalk are great tools for practicing speaking. They offer speaking exercises that let you listen to how words are pronounced, then repeat them out loud. You can also try conversations with other learners or native speakers from around the world. Talking to people from different countries can help you feel more comfortable using English in real-life situations. Another useful feature is speech recognition. Many apps will listen to what you say and tell you if you've pronounced the words correctly. This can be very helpful for improving your pronunciation. At first, you might feel nervous or embarrassed, but with time, you'll see that you're improving and it will become more fun. Don't worry if the app tells you that you made a mistake. It's just helping you learn. Each mistake is a chance to improve, and that's how you get better at speaking. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Let's talk more about mistakes. Many beginners are afraid to speak because they think they will make mistakes. But guess what? Mistakes are part of learning. You should never be afraid of making them because they are the key to improvement. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. Think about how you learned your first language. When you were a baby, you made mistakes all the time. You didn't say things perfectly at first, but with every mistake, you learned how to speak better. The same thing happens when you're learning English. If you say something wrong, don't be upset. Just correct it and move on. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make. But even native speakers still make mistakes sometimes. Imagine you're in a conversation, and you say something like, "I have an apple." You might hear someone say, "It's an apple, not a apple." That's okay. Now you know that before a vowel sound, you use an instead of a. It's a small mistake, but it's an important lesson. You will never make that mistake again, and your English will be stronger because of it. Remember, you are learning, and learning means making mistakes. Every mistake is a step toward becoming better at English. Don't let fear hold you back from speaking. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Practice speaking with others. If you feel ready to take your speaking to the next level, try to practice speaking with other people. You can find language exchange partners online or join English-speaking groups. Websites like Tandem, Italki, and Speaky let you connect with people who are also learning English, or even with native speakers who are happy to help you practice. You can also ask your friends or family if they are willing to practice with you. Even if they don't speak perfect English, practicing with them will help you get used to speaking and listening in real-life conversations. Don't worry if the conversation isn't perfect. The goal is to communicate, not to speak perfectly. If you don't have anyone to speak with, that's okay too. You can practice with language exchange apps, record yourself speaking, or even talk to yourself out loud. You'll be surprised at how much progress you can make just by speaking every day. Set realistic goals for speaking. It's important to set realistic goals for yourself. Start small. For example, your first goal might be to introduce yourself in English. Practice saying, "Hello, my name is your name. I am from your country. I am learning English." Once you feel comfortable with that, you can add more sentences, like talking about your hobbies, your job, or your family. As you improve, challenge yourself to have longer conversations. Maybe set a goal to speak for 5 minutes every day, or try to speak in English for 10 minutes with a friend or online partner. You can also try to give short speeches on simple topics, like talking about your favorite movie, your hometown, or your daily routine. Speaking about things you enjoy makes it easier and more fun. Final thoughts on speaking without fear. Let's quickly review what we talked about in this step. Speak every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. The more you speak, the better you'll get. Use language apps to practice speaking and pronunciation. These apps can help you practice at your own pace. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are part of the learning process, and they help you improve. Practice with others. If you can, find someone to speak with. If not, practice alone or with apps. Set small, realistic goals for your speaking practice. Remember, speaking is one of the most important skills in learning a language. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. So, speak without fear. and keep practicing every day. Step 5. Read and write in English. Reading and writing in English might feel a little difficult at first, but it's one of the best ways to improve your skills. Let's start with reading. Read simple books, news, or online articles. The first thing I want you to do is read in English every day. You don't have to read long, complicated books. Start with simple books that are meant for beginners. There are many books available for people who are just starting to learn English. These books have easy words, short sentences, and simple grammar. You can find them at bookstores, libraries, or online. You can even find free English books on websites like Project Gutenberg. Besides books, there are also news websites and online articles that are written in simple English. Websites like BBC Learning English or News in Levels are perfect for beginners because they use simple vocabulary and short sentences. You can read about interesting topics, like the weather, sports, or stories from around the world, all while improving your English. At first, it might be hard to understand everything you read, but that's okay. You don't need to understand every single word. Just focus on the main idea. Try to guess the meaning of words from the pictures, or look them up in a dictionary if needed. As you read more, you'll start to recognize words you already know. And you'll learn new ones too. The more you read, the easier it will become. Reading also helps you improve your vocabulary. When you see words over and over again in different sentences, you start to remember them. This will make it easier for you to use them when you speak or write in English. Thank you so much for being with us today. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and we'll see you in the next episode.